Last week, we were discussing about the second dimension of karma. That dimension was on the basis of ways to perform the karma. And there were three types we described: the karma itself, vikarma, and akarma. And these are the three types. Remember, the ways to act, the ways to perform, how to perform a karma, what to perform, what to do, what not to do. That choice should be on the basis of this categorization. And we described yesterday, last week, that akarma doesn't mean that no karma. No, it's not. These are the basis to perform the karma. So akarma was, it is performed only when the soul has amalgamated, or at least has touched upon, the supreme consciousness, the supreme soul. And then thereafter, when that soul performs any activity, that is considered as a karma, which doesn't become a reason, a cause to have a bound for the life and the death cycle. So when we are talking about the karma, at the beginning time, we started mentioning that the karma is actually the reason to make a vicious cycle of death and birth for us. Because the first dimension, when we are talking about in terms of the results of the karma, there are few karmas which we don't get the result in the same life, and it gets carried forward in the next one. And then to accommodate those, to balance those carried forward karma results, we come again in next life, and then again we perform karma, and then that cycle continues. But when would that end? Here the answer is we have to move from karma, the basis of karma, to the basis of vikarma, so that we can reach out to the level of akarma. Once we reach to the level of akarma, then only we will be freed from the cycle of death and birth. It's not an impossible thing. There has been many people who have achieved this. And just to remind everyone one more time, if you recall, when we were discussing about Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, the life of Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, he established Vihangam Yoga in 1924 with a specific objective. And that objective was to liberate at least 100,000 lives. What does that mean? Liberating at least 100,000 lives means what? Means to bring them to the level of akarma. That means from here onward, from that point onward, they will not have any cause, they will not have any reason, they will not have any balancing factor to come to make it happen in the next life. Everything will be balanced at that time point. And this is the real objective of Vihangam Yoga. This is the objective of the pledge of Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who said that I will be here in one form or another until this pledge is completed. So every human being has a specific reason, and only one reason actually, the ultimate reason to have this life, and that is to reach to the level of akarma. How much effort we are putting, that is a different thing. It again depends on how much knowledge we have, how much understanding we have, what is we are thinking in our day-to-day life. This doesn't have to be anything related with what status we are having in this physical world, how healthy we are, how rich we are, how knowledgeable in terms of reading scriptures and other books and education. It doesn't have to do anything on that. It's completely different thing. It's completely spirituality, which doesn't have to do anything what is your other status in this life, because this is a matter of soul, not a matter of the body, not a matter of the mind. It is much more beyond that. And to understand all these things, to feel, to understand, to experience all these things, we need a master. Without master, we cannot achieve anything of these. And that master has to be of what type? That master has to be of a type that he himself has achieved that level. And not just that, being at that level or probably going beyond that level, that master should have capacity to bring others also to that level. And that's what we have our master Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who has full capability and authority to bring every eligible soul to that level. Association with the eternal master, association with Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj to achieve the real objective of our life is the most important factor for all of us. But let us peep out, or let us peep in to our life, our day-to-day life, to see where we exist. What are we doing in our day-to-day life? What activities we are doing in our day-to-day life? On my own experience, I have observed that roughly around, other than sleeping portion, the time, suppose we are awake, let's consider that a normal person is sleeping for 7 hours. Then we have 17 hours as a whole. Out of these 17 hours, approximately 5 to 6 hours we just waste every day in our day-to-day life without any reason. Without any reason. If one day you will write down on a paper, please do this activity if you can, write down on a paper just for 1 week, only for 1 week, every hour what you have done. Every hour, make a chart, make a list, and see how much you can optimize those. Once you start writing it out on the paper, pen and paper, write down, okay, from 5 to 6 I did these things. Every second, not every second, but every hour. It's better to have every hour or half an hour, and see where we have wasted our time. The karma is very important. If you're not doing anything, that doesn't mean that we are not doing anything. Actually, we are doing something even at that time point. Are we conscious about it? If some person think that, okay, I'm just thinking, no one knows what I'm thinking. I'm watching something, I'm seeing something, I'm doing something, no one knows what I'm doing. Who will know? Sorry, my dear friend, it's not like that. It's not like that. It doesn't matter whether somebody knows or not, whether somebody sees it or not. There is a mechanism for each one of us, and that is in the form of chit. Everything, as we have discussed earlier, everything, whatever comes to us in the form of thinking, in the form of feeling, in the form of activities, it all gets stored to the chit. And on that basis only, the activities and the result of the karma come in front of us. We are, as a life, we are more as a reactive person compared to as an active person. But ultimately, it's all our own. There's nothing someone else. Someone else is just a medium. Someone else is just a cause to have that particular situation in front of us. We have to understand what we are doing and why we are doing. And for that reason, we need to understand what we are doing. We'll talk more about good and bad type of karma as a third dimension of its categorization. And then there onward, we will talk more about what is the meaning of yoga and karma. We have heard many times, maybe those who have been having habit to read Gita or other scriptures, you might have heard a word or a term, yogastha kuru karmani. Situate yourself in yoga and then do the karma. What does this mean? And many times people consider what I'm doing, I consider my job, my responsibility is the most important karma for me. What is wrong in that? Is there something which is wrong in it? We will talk about this more in detail tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening today.